Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to another Carolina Panthers talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, pardon me. I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk a little bit and just kind of give my thoughts around, a lot of the things that have been mentioned in the news and also that I've been hearing among other Panthers YouTubers slash podcasters. And I just wanted to give my own thoughts to things. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this Carolina Panthers organization is just in all sorts of confusion and chaos and just I feel like this organization is wrecked. And there's really no telling how long it will take for this organization to really get things together and bounce back. Could be years. Like, that's how bad it's looking. And the Carolina Panthers are the laughing stock of the NFL. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Couple of things that have come up. First off, it was announced that the Panthers will be holding training camp for next season in Charlotte, right here in Bank of America Stadium. Interesting. Very interesting. So they are moving from Wofford College in Spartanburg, and apparently they're going to have training camp in the off season at the facility. So interesting. And then apparently the other word is that FanFest will be in South Carolina. Interesting. So they're switching it up. I know I was talking with a few people and they hate the idea because I guess there are some dedicated fans that tend to go to the training camps in Wofford, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. For the longest time they've had them in South Carolina. Now it's getting moved to Charlotte, and then they're moving FanFest to South Carolina. That's interesting. It's really, really interesting. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I'm sure the South Carolina fans are probably pissed, which I get. I totally get it. But yeah. So that's one interesting piece of news that came up. Also, so really, really bad news in regards to Panthers tight end Hayden Hurst. Apparently, according to his father, Jerry Hurst, Hayden Hurst has been diagnosed with post-traumatic amnesia by an independent neurologist from when he took the hit that he took in the Chicago Bears game, November 9th. Says slow recovery process. Don't know when he'll be back. Prayers appreciated. That was tweeted by his father, Jerry Hurst. Oof. Yeah. That's sad. That's actually really sad to hear. Prayers definitely going up for Hayden Hurst, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, is it even worth him coming back and finishing out the season? But yeah, and just to give folks an idea of what post traumatic amnesia is, aka PTA, it's a state of confusion that occurs immediately following a traumatic brain injury, in which the injured person is disoriented and unable to remember events that occurred after the injury. Person may be unable to state their name, where they are, and what time it is. Yeah, that's that's bad. That's really really bad. Because we know that Hayden Hurst had been in the concussion protocol for a while, but dang, when it's that bad that he's been diagnosed with PTA, it just it just takes it to a whole nother level. Just just prayers going up for Hayden Hurst, and honestly, I'm just more concerned about his health and safety. I mean, you know, regardless of what he's done with this for this team statistically, just prayers going up for Hayden Hurst. Like this sounds like a pretty critical injury. So yeah, just you hate to hear things like that, regardless of what team you're a fan of. You really hate to hear about things like that. So I just wish the best for Hayden Hurst, and hopefully he will recover just fine. But honestly, they might want to consider. I mean, being that Carolina has 5 games left, I mean, I would not be surprised if they just went ahead and shut him down for the rest of the season and just let him focus on recovering. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a slow recovery process that he's going through. I think they need to really consider just shutting him down for the rest of the season and just let him focus on recovering. Because that sounds serious. This PTA, this post-traumatic amnesia, sounds pretty serious. So that's just my thoughts on that. But I think they should shut him down for the rest of the season and just let him focus on recovering. Some other things that I've been hearing is supposedly after Bryce Young's early struggles this season, some of the coaches apparently wanted to bench him and put in Andy Dalton. But here's the thing. It sounds like David Tepper and his meddling interfered with that. Because let's face it, the word is that Bryce Young is David Tepper's guy. That's his baby. That's his golden boy. So, I mean, so we can't really be surprised that David Tepper would try to meddle and overturn that decision. Or at least that's what I'm hearing. At least that's what I'm hearing. Him overruling that idea. And not only that, it has come to the point where it is really looking like a lot of the organization, coaches, and whatnot, we're just not on the same page. And that's not good. And it's sad if everybody's not on the same page. I mean, this was a team that has an all-star lineup of coaches on the staff. As I said previously, a combined 11 Super Bowl rings across this coaching staff. But yet, as Mr. Carolina, Corey, and maybe many others have said, too many cooks in the kitchen. It sounds like that this is really what the case has been. I mean, with David Tepper meddling, folks going behind Coach Frank Reich's back and reporting things, whether it's other coaching staff members, whether it's Scott Fitterer. I mean, there was word that supposedly it was reported to David Tepper about how the coaching was of Bryce Young and how things needed to change, and suggestions were made. And apparently one of the things that came up was supposedly the reason why he's been sacked so much has to do with his lack of footwork and his lack of being coached up as far as footwork, drop backs, things like that. And supposedly David Tepper made it an action to communicate that the same week that we played the Titans, I guess in hopes of that being addressed. And then when that ended up equaling a loss, he gets fed up, bam, fires Coach Frank Reich. So I think the main question we need to really ask ourselves is, how much meddling has David Tepper really been doing? How much meddling has he really been doing since he acquired this team and became the owner? I mean, here it is, what, year 5, year 6? And if it's been that way this whole entire time, we got ourselves a problem. I know a lot of folks want to say it's Bryce's fault, it's Frank Reich's fault, it's Scott Fitterer's fault. But to be honest with y'all, I think we really need to hit the top of the food chain, the top source in David Tepper. Like, I'm not so sure the others are at as big of a fault as David Tepper is. I'm not saying that the others don't share some of the fault, some of the blame. Of course, especially with how things have happened with this team. Word is that Scott Fitterer brought in good talent, but not the talent that fits the scheme that the coaches had planned. I've been hearing that. I've been hearing there's a lack of trust. It seems like maybe there's a lack of trust in Frank Reich, potentially with his staff. Like, honestly, how much of that staff was really Frank's idea? Because when you think about it, it really seems like the whole idea was, from David Tepper is, okay, he hired Frank Reich. Okay, here's a blank check, or here's however much money. Get a diverse, like, the best coaching staff that you could think of. Like, all-stars, well-known, winning coaches, whatever. And then look what we ended up getting. An all-star coaching staff with some pretty big names and 11 Super Bowls shared. Or not shared, but 11 Super Bowls total across the board of this coaching staff. But really, how many of these guys were Frank Reich's choosing? It makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Because how the heck do you get a squad like that and not everybody can be on the same page? Too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, it's just, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But I really think there's a lot going on in this organization from the top of the food chain and David Tepper that I'm really, really fully sold on the idea that, I hate to say it, y'all, we really need a new owner. We need a new owner. At this point, I am not so sure that I trust that David Tepper is the man that can help turn this organization around. And I think a big thing about it is I think he's trying so hard to get the quick fix, that it's not really helping. You know, you got the coaching, thoughts of the coaching staff mainly wanting CJ Stroud and David Tepper, the Teppers wanting Bryce Young. Like, David Tepper should really have nothing to do with any of that. He really should be the owner. And I really feel like he should let the coaches coach, let the GM do what the GM is supposed to do, the scouts do what they're supposed to do, and really, he should be the main one that's focusing on sitting back, writing the checks, cashing the checks, and any other, main organizational needs. But I think a big portion of the meddling has really done its damage with this organization. I really believe that. It sucks too. It really, really sucks. But I just really don't believe David Tepper is the guy that's really going to help turn things around with this organization. I really believe that he needs to sell the team. I think we need a new owner, y'all. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I mean, we can say what we want about Bryce Young, Frank Reich, Scott Fitterer. I get it. I definitely get it. I mean, after all, Frank Reich got fired. Bryce Young has not had a great season. Has not had a good season. I mean, it's been a pretty mediocre, bad season. I mean, that's true. That is true. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Scott Fitterer, his job is not safe. And when you think about it, the Panthers' record hasn't been good since he became the general manager. So, I mean, there's a lot more negatives than positives. Let's just keep it real. There's a lot more negatives than positives going on right now. I mean, just with that, plus no first round draft pick, free agent talents that have been acquired. Because like I said, word supposedly is that, the talent, which like I said, I felt like the talent was good, but maybe in the wrong schemes. Maybe in the wrong schemes. And the only reason why I say that is because the talent that was acquired had done well elsewhere before they came here. That's the only reason why I'm mentioning that. But yeah, I mean, it's just really been bad for this organization. But I think a good amount of responsibility really is on David Tepper, top of the food chain, the owner. I mean, he's the owner. I mean, I really feel like Tepper needs to let the coaches do their job, let the general manager do their job, and he needs to stop meddling. Even if it's a small percentage, he needs to completely stop. Otherwise, he's going to run this organization into the ground, and we're not going to ever be good for a long time. So, I just really feel like maybe supposedly David Tepper is the cancer, the main cancer of this organization. You know, I hate to say it, and it feels like it's been kind of like a domino effect as well. You know, because you see the struggles with Scott Fitterer, you see the struggles with Frank Wright, you see the struggles with Bryce Young and the offense, and you know our record. I mean, 1-11 out of playoff contention, and just like I said, past handful of seasons haven't been to the playoffs since 2017. You know, a lot of questionable moves. You know, through trades and draft picks and stuff like that. You know, seems like a big domino effect. But and then there is the what if we did put in Andy Dalton early this season. You know, how would things go? I mean, we know that he played in game, week 3 against Seattle, put up 27 points. You know, not bad. But many wonder if we would have rolled with Andy Dalton, would our record be the same? Honestly, probably not. Probably not. I think the record would have been a little better. But going back to Bryce Young, I know some of the struggles definitely are on him. But also, dude is not being coached up properly. Dude's not being taught properly. I mean, let's just keep it real. Now, am I saying that it's impossible for him to be a bust? No, I'm not saying that. I still think it's too early to call him a bust, but that's just me. But he has been struggling. This has not been a good year for him. So, I'm really curious to see how Bryce can do with good upbringing, good coaching, being used in the right schemes, and really see if he can handle that. Because right now, I feel like the dude is having a hard time handling things in his NFL rookie year. I mean, you can tell the dude is flustered. And I get it. Some say that he might be on par to potentially get sacked maybe even like 60 or 70 times by the end of this season. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my overall thoughts. I just feel like David Tepper may be the main issue. Not saying that he's the only issue, but the main issue. And I really feel like, as much as we do need a new coach, which I think we need, a young coach that's really going to provide the tools to help this team out, especially on the offensive side. But yeah, I think a a young coach, maybe late 30s, early 40s. And need to build around Bryce. Got to get him some weapons, build around Bryce. Like I said, this offseason is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But yeah, y'all, that's really just my thoughts on things. But like I said, I think we need a new owner. I honestly think we need a new owner. I don't have faith in David Tepper. I just got to keep it real with y'all. I mean, maybe some of y'all feel a different way. That's fine. But I just really don't have faith in David Tepper that he will, take a step back, take his hands off of things, stop meddling, and let folks do their jobs. I strongly believe he needs to hire a football-minded staff who's experienced in football things and logistics and such to really help him, to really help this franchise so that he can take a back seat and just be the owner. So that's all I can really say. That's just me giving my thoughts off the top of my head with everything that's been going on and just a lot of what I've been hearing that's been brought up. But that, and like I said, prayers going up for tight end Hayden Hurst, speedy recovery for him. But let me know what y'all's thoughts are just with the overall organization. Do you feel David Tepper is the main source, and do you feel that we need a new owner? Or, are there any folks that you want to point out specifically that you feel, has been kind of a cancer to this organization? And just with a lot that's been talked about, like, what are y'all's honest thoughts? Like, let me hear from y'all how y'all are feeling and just your reactions to things, and the whole Hayden Hurst PTA, training camp being moved to Charlotte, Fan Fest will be in South Carolina, the David Tepper meddling. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Don't forget to check out the link to Game Beauty as well, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. For another Carolina Panthers talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace.